Hey everyone, it's Dominique from ShitnGiggles, and this is my guest, Loki. Loki is a 10-year-old husky mix that I adopted against my ex-husband's wishes. He was my aunt's puppy, and she came for a visit, and she left him with us, and I said yes, and my ex said no, and I won. We still have him. I do anyway, since we're divorced. Anyway, I thought I would share some of Loki's crazy stories to celebrate him being 10 and his awesomeness. Right, babe? If you don't know, Loki is Thor's brother, obviously, in the Marvel comic world, and also in the mythological sense. You know, Loki was a demigod and a prankster, and Loki as a puppy was super duper cute, and, you know, he had this huge head and these long gangly legs and these ginormous paws, and they said he would be about 50 pounds, and he was closer to 70, but we're not judging. Anyway, so Loki was named very appropriately. He destroyed anything and everything and acted innocently doing so, like such. Some of Loki's craziest things he's done. I don't know if you're familiar with the Kong toy. It's, you know, one of those kind of emoji poop shaped kind of toys that are red or black. I recommend the black ones always. They're super durable, and he's a destroyer of toys. He hasn't made a crack in the black ones. They're for extra tough chewers, which Loki is. And, oh, settle down. And anyway, we had a Kong on a rope, and Loki went to the dog park as a puppy, and he pooped something red with the letter K on it, and at first I thought it was a piece of bell pepper, but it turned out it had a K on it, and it was a piece of Kong on a rope toy. So from then on, we swore off the red ones. Some of my favorite memories of Loki, when we first got him, it was in February, so we just celebrated his 10 years gotcha day, or 11 years, I suppose. And he's born in December, so we took him to the puppy or dog playground, or dog park. God, I can't speak. Anyway, took him to the dog park for the first time when he was about 10 weeks old. Were you about 10? Yeah. And it was snowing, and he decided to curl up in a ball in the snow and just sleep like a tiny little puppy. He ignored everybody there, all the other dogs, and he just slept the whole time. Kind of like now. Lazy. He's destroyed an antique sofa, like the legs of the antique sofa, numerous books, university textbooks, pens, pencils, erasers, the little pad thing in meat packages that like absorb the blood and juice and stuff. He ate one of those. It came out, thankfully, this way, not that way. But some of my favorite memories from when he was 2, it makes everybody laugh because it doesn't make sense how he's still alive, but he is, and I'm so happy. I used to work at a call center, and my ex would pick me up. They would give us a taxi home for the night shift people to a certain kilometer point. So because I lived outside the city, I only got dropped off to a certain point, and my ex would come pick me up, and then, you know, usually the dogs were with us or with him, and we would go home, make dinner, you know, watch TV and go to bed. So every night was the same thing, Monday to Friday, you know, like, hey, how's it going? And, you know, one night he was like, well, it's going fine, but Loki can't stop breathing. The dog can't stop breathing. Like, that's normal, and that's like a good thing, you would think, but he was like, no, like, you know, he's like breathing really hard, like well, did you take him to the vet? No, because I thought it was a bee sting. Okay, so we get home, it's like, I don't know, 11:30 at night, and Loki's, you know, breathing like a maniac, panting his heart out. But he can eat and he can drink, and he was using the bathroom, and he was happy, and the vet was closed. We didn't live anywhere near a vet, so we're like, okay, we'll take him to the vet in the morning before work. So in the morning, it turned out he was fine. But anyway, before that, We had dinner, we watched some TV, we went to bed, and pulled back the blanket and discovered there was like a line of white powder in the bed, which totally sounds like cocaine, but it's not, you know. And at the foot of the bed, buried under my blanket, was a crumpled up chunk of plastic, and that crumpled up chunk of plastic was my asthma medicine, which contained some steroids in it. So Loki here, my darling, has been high on steroids. Next morning, totally fine, breathing normally like a dog should, you know. And then 2 weeks later, same thing. How's it going, honey? How was work? Oh, good, but the dog's face looks like it's falling off. Again, did you take him to the vet? No, no, no. This time for sure it must be a bee sting because I didn't see anything in the bed. It's good. It's good. Like, it's not the inhaler. Which I learned to keep in my bag and on me instead of by my bed. So then we got home, looked at the dog. He was still able to eat and drink. But yeah, half his face was like just like hanging. I wish I had a photo of it, but technology 8 years ago wasn't so great for digital photos. So anyway, he could eat, he could drink, he could breathe, he was fine. We'll take him to the vet in the morning, if it's not better or what have you. We're not going to the vet, chill, okay? So, had supper, watched a bit of TV, made sure the dog was fine, took him for a walk, all that stuff, and crawled in bed, double checked to make sure there was no white lines in the bed or my inhaler, and crawled in bed, and I went to, plug in my cell phone to charge it for the night because it's by my side of the bed for my phone, and he had chewed it, and it was plugged in. So he was electrocuted. He self-electrocuted himself. Next morning, face back to normal, so I know it sounds really bad that we didn't take our dog to the vet, but he was fine, his face like normal size, still eating and drinking, and neurologically still destroying things all the time. And now that he's 10, he still steals food, but he's the best dog, that's his only minor flaw really, is that he steals food, and I don't blame him for that. He's a dog. Everything tastes and smells so tempting. How can you resist? Having a dog has changed my life for the better, we actually brought Loki and another dog, Blue, with us from Canada. Blue died a few years ago from old age, but Loki's absolutely amazing. He's so patient, he's so good with the kids. For those of you that don't know me from blogging in my undies, I'm a mom of 3. My oldest son has nonverbal autism, and Loki has been absolutely amazing with the V-Man, as we call him here. Very patient with kids, elderly people of any kind. He's so kind and so loving. He rarely barks, which is really nice. He doesn't destroy things so much. His only job now is like hunting for food all the time because he acts like he's starving all the time. And, looking for love as usual. But I really can't complain. He's never bitten anybody. He's never hurt anybody. He's just the best dog. And whenever I'm sad, he's been there for me. Him and Blue, of course, especially post-delivery after my first son. It was very painful, as some of you may know, and it was hard to use the bathroom. It was hard to get up and walk around, and the dogs were so patient. I would call them and screaming and crying because I would be home alone with the baby while the ex was working, and the dogs have just been fantastic. And the great thing about dogs, I love cats too, don't get me wrong, but the great thing about dogs is that they get you outside, they get you exercising, they give you some sort of responsibility, so no matter what, you have to take them outside. You have to get them outside, you have to get them socialized and playing with others and playing with you. It keeps your mind sharp. And I really don't think I could live without a dog in my home now, which is funny because I grew up allergic to dogs, like heavily allergic. Like me touching Loki would never have happened if I was a kid. I had like swollen eyes, sneezing, the works, hives, rashes, watery eyes, the works. But if you can get a dog, if you can adopt a dog, I totally recommend it. They're the best investment. You know, they love you unconditionally. They, my buddy, they care. They're happy to see you always. And all they need is attention, guidance, and love, and food and water, you know, the basics. And they're pretty much your best friend for life. I'm hoping that, you know, his little trip on steroids and self-electrocution will increase his life for many, many years to come, because I'll never get a dog as great and amazing as Loki. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and if you like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. Want to say bye, Loke? No? Thanks. Bye.